Howdy, howdy. Now I
Hello.
want to try to figure out where I put the stuff that I wanted to show today. Let's see.
Hello, hello. Don't know why
Oh
you say
no.
goodbye. I
Say
say
goodbye
hello.
and say hello. I put it in the thumbs. There it is. All right. Welcome. This is a different type of hour. What we got going on here right now.
Been a minute since we've done something like this.
Yeah, this is just like sit and talk. I'm just going to go and show you what I'm basically working on. I showed in the last session the this little what's it called? This little no, it's this little slide. It's a PowerPoint slide. That's the word. This slide right here um, with the new directions. Just like that's from Glee. My mom says, "Hit the like, everybody." If you're out there, I don't know what she was in the last session, but here she is. My mom started learning the alphabet through Duolingo. She's going to learn a little bit of Hebrew. This is basically a session where I want to talk about what we're going to be doing and how it's going to work. Obviously, the first hour is not going to be too difficult for you. If you're somebody who reads the Hebrew Bible, then it kind of makes sense. My name is right in my face. I should probably just take that off. Let's take that off. Just know that Jacob is out there with us. He doesn't have a face because his camera's messed up. Anyway, so the first hour is going to be pretty well standard. We've read Judges and Psalms and the David story. We've read so much, and right now we're just going to start reading one chapter of Pirkei Avot and then into Parashat Hashavua that I described in the last session, which means we're going to work through the entirety of the Torah. I would encourage you during the weekly Torah portion to read the whole Torah portion, the whole parasha, and then we will read together the single aliyah. That might be a big reading commitment, but it is something that will improve your fluency and comprehension of the Hebrew Bible if you will read it every week. You could, I would suggest actually, I'll actually pull it up for you. Okay, there is a website called Mechon Mamre. Mechon Mamre. It looks like that. Mechon-mamre.org. That has the Hebrew Bible. Okay, in a text format. Very, very, very simple. But in addition to the Hebrew Bible, in written format like this, Hebrew with cantillation marks. Okay, the beginning of this is the Torah portions. So it's Bereshit is the first one, then Noach, then Lech Lecha, Vayira, and so on. The bold ones are the beginning of a new book, like Shmot is Exodus, Vayikra, Leviticus, Bamidbar, Numbers, Devarim, Deuteronomy, and the readings from each one. If you click on, for example, Bereshit, in this, it's going to give you the Hebrew on the right, and then Targum in Aramaic on the left. So if you want to compare Hebrew to Aramaic, you can do that very simply with the specific weekly reading. I'm trying to see. They have MP3 option, like listening to the audio. That Sam Samuelov, the guy who recorded all of the. Can you see audio here? I don't see.
I don't see there. What happens if you click on a text, like on the text itself?
You can just Machon Mamre audio and it's chapter by chapter MP3 recordings of the Hebrew
Okay.
Bible. Just Google it. And then when you go to Genesis 1, Genesis 2, Genesis 3, it will pull up just an audio recording. Okay. And it will read the chapter to you. So if that is something that you want that will help you get through the chapters, which I think listening to it helps a lot, then that is a good idea right there for you.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, I do recommend using this website because it's just simple to use. Hebrew with cantillation marks after the Parashat Hashavua, which is this. After that, you have Genesis Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Just go into Genesis, and then you have Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, and so on. These are the numbers of the chapters. Aleph is 1, Bet is 2, Gimel is 3, and so on. So we would look for the first chapter that we're going to be doing is Aliyah 4. It's the fourth Aliyah. It starts here with Vayomer Adonai Elohim hen ha'adam haya ke'echad mimenu. I will give you the verse numbers before the week starts, so you'll know where to read. And I will make PowerPoints that look like. Hold on, we'll finish going over this, and I'll show you what the PowerPoints will look like. Okay, so Parashat HaShavua is our weekly Torah reading. Okay, Parashat HaShavua, that's what we're going to be working on. And you reading on your own the entire portion would be very beneficial just because you get through all of the texts you have. Hebrew, you improve by reading. And so if you read a lot, you're going to get better and better. Don't you agree, Colton and Jacob?
Yep.
Indeed.
Keep reading good.
We have other people here with us now. We got John right there. And I think that's it. Hi, John. Welcome back. Sorry I missed you. I'm like juggling the screens here.
I don't know.
Okay, so the second hour, we will, like I said, the thing is that we did a long time ago, the first thing that I did on live on this channel was the grammar of Kutz and Jasperger. We finished that. We finished Weingreen's grammar. We finished Shio's grammar. That's 3 basic biblical Hebrew grammars. So it's time that we move on to something not basic. Classical Hebrew composition by Weingreen is not easy. It's going to be a difficult journey, and it's going to be monotonous and a lot of recall. But I hope that you will join us. John, I'm going to mute you again. I'm sorry. There's just there's wind coming through your mic.
That's my fan. I'll just mute. Yeah, mute me, and I'll just, if I need to talk, I'll shut it off. It's we're having
If you
a
can
wave
mute,
here in LA.
yourself, if you mute yourself, then when you need to talk, you can insert yourself. I happen to be really lucky. There's this guy who lives in kind of the south, in Kiryat Gat in Israel. And one day, like we were roommates at one point, he moved to Tel Aviv, and he brought a couple of books with him. And one of them, he said, "Wow, I have this book somebody gave me. I'm never going to use it. Do you want it?" And he handed me that. Classical Hebrew composition. He handed me this book. And I was like, please? It's a rare find. So I'm very lucky to have it in my possession. But if you are not so lucky, there is the Internet Archive, and I've sent on Patreon, I sent the link. So if anybody needs it, look up Wine-Green Composition on the Internet Archive, and you can borrow this book out. So what I'm going to do is have all of the text typed up. What happens? You sign in to the Internet Archive. You have to have a log on. Okay, so I think you can log on with Gmail or something, but you need to log on. And then you click borrow. You can't download it. You can't keep it, but you can borrow it. Okay, and once you do that, it lets you see the whole book. The book it's basically out of print now. It's from 1957. Well, that's taking a long time, isn't it? All right, so it comes up as borrowed, and it lets you return it. I would just suggest clicking on full screen, which isn't really full screen, it's full browser screen. And then it allows you to go through the pages. If you tell it to look at single page at a time, then you can make it larger and go and actually be able to read it. So I'll show you what the text looks like. It's divided into numerous texts. So it says texts, like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. And then there are notes on each text and an index to the notes and an English to Hebrew vocabulary to help you translate. If you have a print copy, then it's easy to flip through. If you have the PDF, it's less easy. So there was a famine in the land of Canaan, for the people were sinful unto the Lord. And the Lord spoke unto Abraham, and he said unto him, Behold, there's famine in the land. Take therefore thy wife and thy brother's son and all thou possessest, and go down to the land of Egypt. So when I'm transcribing this, I'm going to get rid of all of the thy and thou and possessest and all of the old language and bring it into modern forms so it's easier to read. Notice how much text it is. That's one text. Text number 1 is this much text. So I'm going to break it down also into smaller digestible chunks, and you will be able to work through it. If you have access to this, just go on and have access to it. You'll have the worksheet where I've got it all typed out, and then you can compare it here with the notes. The notes have to do with the footnotes here, like number 28 goes down to 28, which says, see Wine Green Hebrew Grammar, section 148 for infinitive construct of the kal. Like he'll give notes for translation to help you. Notice on text number 1, he has 66. How many? Yeah, 66 notes. That's a lot of notes for help. And then when we meet, we'll go through it slowly but surely. We won't tackle it all in one session. Okay, so what does it look like, the worksheets that I'm going to be making? Going to Google Documents. Okay, I'm going to have 2 copies of each one, like Wine Green Comp 01, that's text number 1. I'm going to have one that is public that I'm going to share on Patreon for anyone who wants to. If you have the link, you will be able to make a copy of this into your own Google Documents and then work on it, like type out your own answers. Or you could download it because you're able to save it as a Word document, download Microsoft Word or whatever else, but download it as Word or open document. And then you'll be able, in the table on your computer, maybe to print it out, or maybe if you want to write by hand, or to type out your answers, whatever it is. But you're not able to edit this text. If you have the link, you're not able to edit it. So it will preserve it clean for everybody. All right, that's the idea, that I have a copy that is not going to be edited, that you'll be able just to make a copy for yourself or download it for yourself. Okay, and then the second copy that I have here, it says shared. One is public, that is for everyone, and one is shared. Shared is for people who are going to be typing together and working on the document together on screen. Okay, because whoever's on Patreon, a paid member, will be able to participate on live, like John is sitting with us now and how Jacob was with us a second ago. Okay. So what we will do is I will open it up like this on screen, and you will each open the link on your own computer. When you type, it will update your typing here. Whatever you type will update here. On your computer will update on my screen. And whatever I type will update on your screen. But my screen will be broadcast to the YouTube. Okay, so we're going to work together through the translations. Like, for example, I've broken it. This is the same text, number 1, but instead of so take therefore your wife and your brother's son and all which you possess, instead of all which thou possessest. So it's been brought into modern language. I broke it down so it's like 3-4 lines, maybe 5. And so there are 16 of these breakings of text number 1. And then we can tackle them as smaller text instead of looking at this huge wall. We lost John. But instead of looking at a big wall of text, it's smaller ones. And John's back. Welcome back. So basically, if I had to get feedback from you guys, like I had asked what we wanted to do and kind of talked through it with a couple of times with some people, and I thought this was the best option. I know that Adel wrote me an email today, and he is really excited about joining in on this. He's still doing his wedding anniversary, so he's not with us right now. What about you guys? What do you think?
I think this is too hard for me and too time consuming. I don't think I'm going to be participating. Sorry.
Not at all?
Well, I definitely want to be in on the Pirkei vote. I definitely
Mhm.
want to be on the
Parashat
Parsha.
Shavua?
Yeah, but just in a lot of ways, I don't think I can participate in this as much as in theory I would like to, but in
Well,
reality,
at least come and watch if you don't want to like get on screen or do direct participation. Maybe something would be beneficial for you just to hear it, like what we're doing with our group, where we're doing the oral practice. I think is the best thing. Yeah, those sections of the oral practice.
all right. Well, I'll give it some thought.
All
But
right. You're
yeah,
not under obligation to become a slave to composing.
I know, but I mean, I'm torn by it because I understand that as hard as it is, it's the best way to like learn. It engages a different part of my brain, and
Yeah.
and that needs to be engaged. But it would be very time consuming, and I've got my own projects I want to do, and I only, I only have so much energy to do it. So
Oh, I thought you would want to write your own version of the book of Jeremiah.
my own version? No,
Yeah.
I wouldn't do. No, I wouldn't. Not even I could be. No. I would. I would take a stab at translating it, but it would take the rest of my life to do that. I've got other things I want to do, and
Jacob says that your version of Jeremiah could be 15% shorter. That's a joke because of the Dead Sea Scrolls. Because in the Dead Sea Scrolls, the version of Jeremiah that's there is 15% shorter than the version we have.
Yeah.
And look, huh?
Does it lose anything? I mean, besides 15%, or is that an improvement?
I don't know
Jeremiah
what's
could
left
use
out
an
of it. I
edit.
haven't looked at it.
I think the thought is that it would be probably more close to the reading of the Septuagint Jeremiah there, because the Septuagint Jeremiah is also like 15-20% shorter than the Masoretic.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Jacob, what do you think about what we're about to embark upon?
It sounds very interesting. I will probably not be in very often because European times.
Well, I mean, right now it's 1:20 in the morning where I am. So.
Oh,
Have you
for
ever
me, it's
done
just
composition?
I have not. No, I've always, when I work with Hebrew, I'm always working from Hebrew into either like just reading or translating it into my target language. I'm not gone the other way around.
What did you say, Swedish?
Yeah. Like right now, preparing a little bit for an upcoming Hebrew course. So just gonna start with a small little thing on Genesis 1. So I've translated Genesis 1 just this week.
In Swedish? You're translating
Yeah.
into Swedish?
Yeah, that's correct.
Is that your native tongue?
Yeah. I've lived in Sweden all of my life, all of my
Nice.
29 years.
I was 27 years in the U.S. and now I've been 18 years in Israel. So I'm trying to catch up with my American experience. So.
I'm Jason's age when I'm 28, but we're basically Jason's age when he moved to Israel. So, Jacob, it's time to make the move. Both of us. Just
there you go.
Bring
Get
your whole
butts
family
over here.
Yeah, I'm very close to 30 now.
Nice. What else? Okay, so the third hour is just going to continue with what we've been doing. So not much to announce that way. Let's look. What is this? What changes did I make? I didn't make any changes. So let's look at what I've labeled here as PHS. PHS Parashat HaShavua. That's nice. This is what the Parashat HaShavua I want to look like. Notice it says October 13th because why would we start October 13th?
That's the beginning of the Jewish year. That's my guess, right?
So the new year is Rosh Hashanah, which in the Bible is Yom HaTruah. It's the trumpet, Feast of Trumpets.
Mm-hmm.
So 10 days after Rosh Hashanah, which is the first of Tishrei, 10 days after that is Yom Kippur. That's the Day of Atonement. So this wraps up the year and looks toward the new year, where we're starting a fresh slate. And so immediately after Yom Kippur is the holiday of Sukkot. Sukkot is a 7-day holiday, like Passover. And at the end of Sukkot is the holiday called Simchat Torah, the joy of Torah. This holiday has taken on some negative feeling in Israel recently because Simchat Torah was the holiday when Hamas came and killed, raped, and kidnapped a lot of people. So that Simchat Torah became, that was on a Saturday, and it became what they call a Black Saturday, Shabbat Shchorah. So it's got bad connotations, but the holiday itself is when we reset the cycle for Torah reading, where we finish the year at the end of Deuteronomy, and we begin the new year at the book of Genesis. So this year, I figure our ambition is going to be to follow the cycle. So we're going to start on October 13th, which is lead up to the first parasha, which is going to be for the Shabbat of October 22nd, I think. Let me see. October 18th. Excuse me. October 18th is the Shabbat when they read Bereshit. So we're going to do it on October 13th, just before that Shabbat. I want to do the fourth Aliyah. Like I said, that the parasha, which is the Torah portion, is divided into 7 readings that you can find in books like the Tikkun Korim, that I think is a good idea for everyone to have. Tikkun Korim, here I'll show that in my copy. Tikkun Korim is a book that has on one side the text with the vowel points and everything. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see. This side is the vowel pointing. It tells you how to read. And then this side is what it looks like on the text of the Torah scroll. So it's without points, without Gamim. So this is an excellent book, and it also marks the aliyot, so you know the divisions of the text. I know that's a lot of stuff, a lot of information. You'll get used to it, I promise. So we're going to start with Genesis chapter 3, verse 22, and read up to chapter 4, verse 18. That is the Aliyah Revi'it. It's the 4th Aliyah. So this is all prepped. I prepped this already for October 13th, so it's got a lot of stuff on it, but you don't need to pay attention to it so much. This is what the text of the Torah looks like. Isn't that fun? Have you ever seen the inside of a Torah scroll? John, I'm sure you have.
Yes. It's
Yeah,
very intimidating, actually.
but it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
When I was at Emory, we got to go with one of our modern Orthodox professors. He took us his intro to Judaism class, and so he took us to one of the local synagogues, and
And they got the scroll out and showed it to you.
he got the scroll out and showed it to us, and the yad.
Mhm.
But yeah,
I have a yad in the next room. The Yemenite tradition, the yad, they make them out of wood. And most of the time when you see a yad, which is a pointer, it's going to be made out of metal. Go ahead and tell your experience. I have you in my ear, and I'll grab the yad and I'll show you all when I come back.
I don't know that I have much else to say other than like they brought it to the, I don't know the proper names for things, but they brought it like to the reading stand from like the little, like they keep them like behind, like closed off in the, I don't know if they call it like a tabernacle, but that's kind of like the thing.
The ark.
And
the ark.
yeah, well, the scrolls they keep behind they keep like put back, and so they'll bring them out during the service, is what they were saying. And they had several scrolls, but then they'd bring it out with the yad and the yad, and of course he would use the yad to read as he went along. But it's one of the several things I remember from the trip. But it was really cool. We got to see a lot that day.
Indeed.
These are all written
John
by
was saying
hand.
that it's called the Ark.
Right. These are all written by hand. And I once attended a lecture by a sofer guy who does this, who writes these things. And not only do they have to write it by hand, they also have to prepare the parchment, which is a whole thing in itself. It's like a bleaching thing, and it's this, that, and the other thing. And it's very meticulous. And I don't know, and they're supposed to finish it in a year's time. They do one a year. And I don't know how these guys do it because it would drive me nuts.
I'm just pulling up so you can see, like, this is what the text would look like on the Torah. It's so pretty. I understand that it is intimidating, and that's also the case when you're like in the actual sanctuary and you see like pulling out. You see the text right in front of you. It's gorgeous, but it is scary. It's like a wall of letters, right? And you can't even really read it because there's no vowels. I'll show you real quick. This is a traditional yad. It's a pointer because you don't want to put your finger on the text of the parchment and smudge it and mess up the letters. So you use something else that doesn't have the oil, the grease on your fingers. Normally it has a chain thing that you can hold on to, but my chain fell off. Whatever. This is one from the Yemenite tradition, the Temanim, Yemeni Jewish tradition. They don't call it yad. Yeah, but they don't call it a yad in Yemen. They call it mahwat. I don't know why, but it's still a pointer. Same purpose. Okay, so I want to use this second hour of reading the Torah text to actually get you to love the text as it's written also, and not just the language, but the form of it. So in my presentations, I want to show you, to challenge you to read it a bit differently. To read it like we do, like this. Vayomer Adonai Elohim hen ha'adam haya ke'echad mimenu, and read the text and practice it a little bit, and maybe challenge ourselves to read it without the points. To look
That's
at the text.
Het.
Yes,
I thought those were two Zions.
It's
that's
Zion that's connected with a little thing in the middle.
little rooftop. My God. Okay.
Yeah. So
Manuscripts
traditionally, this is Ke-Echad. Ke-Echad. So we'll be able to look at, this is the shape of the letters as they are written by a sofer stam. Someone who writes, the people who write these professionally, they write the, let's see, sofer. Stam stands for Sefer Torah, Tehillim, like the Psalms, and mezuzot, like the mezuzah that goes on the door. They have the cards inside of them. So it's a professional.
Can Could you explain the like what looks like little growths coming out the top of the letters?
Yep. The letters have crowns on top of them. Not all of them, but some of them have one, like the Dalet, and the Ain has three. There are all of these are part of the design of the letters as written professionally by Sofer Stam. So when you look at the Torah, like there are different traditions, of course, but when you look at the Torah, it's going to include the regular shape of the letter and these embellishments, these flares. I remember hearing, because you know the tradition within Christianity, where I think it's Jesus said something like, "I think not that I have come to destroy the law and the prophets. I've not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Until heaven and earth pass away, not one jot or tittle will in any way fall from the law until everything be fulfilled." I think you've heard those words. I learned when I was getting into this that the tittle was the crowns, but I don't think the crowns were part of the tradition back then. I think that the jot is the yod, that's the smallest letter, and the tittle is like the point on like the hay and whatever, the ones that have points. I don't think it's the crowns, but that's what I was told whenever I was just getting into Hebrew at a Christian college. Okay, so for each verse, I'm going to do that to put the text up. Vayishalechehu Adonai Elohim migan Eden, and we'll practice that a few times, and then look at the text without. Vayishalechehu Adonai Elohim migan Eden la'avod et ha'adama asher lukach misham, and only by knowing that it says asher lukach misham, you know that that is a kal passive, lukach. Without the points, you really wouldn't know. This is why normally when someone is reading in public from the Torah scroll, there is somebody standing beside him, and that person has a copy of the Tanakh or the Chumash open that has the points and has the ta'amim, and they can make corrections because people make mistakes when they're reading. And the person standing with him. What's it?
They also conduct the singing. There's trope written in those things, and the thing is sung. So it's weird. It's like boom, 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 boom. Well, then it's weird to watch.
Yeah, there's so much involved, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But in order to avoid mistakes as much as possible, there's going to be somebody standing there with the book open with the points and everything to make corrections.
My first Hebrew teacher, professor, that's what he'd say. He was like, "This is what they do in synagogue when people are reading," because we would read and he would just like correct us. And he's like, "That's what would happen if you were reading in synagogue. So I'm just going to yell at you the correction until you get it."
Yeah.
He's like, so, and he's not like yelling at us. He's like, he's just like, that's what they would do. So you're gonna get the same. And so, but yeah, I assume. By the way, that the het is written so oddly in order to keep you from reading them as hays. Would be my guess, right? Like mistaking them for hays, or like so that it's not as visually similar. Because like two Zions is weird by itself, but even the rooftop's there. So I guess you could mistake it for two Zions, but like who's going to do that, I guess? I can't think of a double Zion letter at all, like word at all.
Well,
like that broke me a little bit. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, no, I was totally reading them as Zions too, and I did not know that it was a hit until I saw the text I'm used to seeing. But I can only like there has to be a reason for it, right?
Well,
it seems like that would be the most obvious reason.
I'll show you what it looks like when you see Rashi. Do you know Rashi?
Oh,
I know,
are you gonna show Rashi script?
Yeah. This is how Rashi would he wrote by hand.
Jesus.
And these are his letters.
But doesn't Rashi script post-date Rashi significantly?
I understood that he wrote his commentary in the the Torah and Gemara with this script.
My man just sitting here writing numbers in
Mhm.
Hebrew, 7-3.
I mean, it's surely the case that they use that script to set his commentaries apart from the rest. But I thought that the shape of the letter came from him. That's what I understood. I don't know. Maybe
I would
I'm
have to double
wrong.
check. I think I've heard or read that it postdated him, but I could absolutely be wrong.
Something to look at. But let's see. Put that up there again. Look at that. Look at the letter of the Shin. Vayishalechehu.
I don't think
Nice,
I
right?
recognize that as Hebrew.
That's almost. It looks like a weird flag now.
Yeah, it does. Notice the last word. The last word in the text. The last line. It says Lukach Misham. The scene has a little mark that goes down. I can show you. Okay, a little mark that goes down like this. That's not seen. Samech. The samech has a little line that goes off of it, and the mem sofit looks exactly like we think of a samech. So this last word is misham.
That's awful.
Yeah. We could also, over time, incorporate other things from like commentaries and stuff, and look at Rashi's commentary on
Oh, I
some
thought you were going to say
verses
like
or
other
whatever.
scripts.
No, when you look at Rashi's commentary, you generally read it in his letters, or the letters that are called by his name. That's Kitav Rashi.
Mhm.
There's so many things we can accomplish in this. I believe that reading Parashat Shavua is going to be challenging and also quite rewarding, I think.
You know, I think it's interesting too, because like as a good Protestant boy that I am, you know, that Intro to Judaism class was my only like real exposure to like the way that Jewish people. I didn't have like Jewish, not just interpretive traditions, but like yes, that, and like so I don't really have a good hold on that because I only took the one intro course. It's not like I had a. It's not like I did a master's in it like Jonathan did, you know. And so for me, it's like I have enough like tangential knowledge, like I know about the thing, but never actually. So I think it's a really good it's a really good way to look at something specific and then look at different like interpretive.
Yeah.
You know, interpretive
To
lanes
get outside of your own bubble.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
yeah,
the best introduction I've had to was John Barnes' A History to the Bible, because otherwise, like, to be honest, like, as my Christian background, you basically just think of Jewish people as like Christians who didn't quite get there, and yes, that is very problematic.
it's either that or they're Pharisees and they're demonized. Like, I mean, honestly, right? You know, and like that's just not.
There's a lot of issues with how
I mean, we
Judaism is
could
treated in a
talk
lot
about the
of different
fact
contexts.
that the Pharisees were not in Judaism. The Pharisees were not seen as the bad guys. The
Well,
Pharisees are
that's
the
another
good
very
guys.
interesting thing. How
They
they're
were
like kind of the nice ones, and like the Gospels are just like, no,
Yeah.
these are the worst. We hate them.
You know, and
Yeah.
the thing too is like the Pharisees were they weren't like
liberals.
the strict. Yeah, they were the liberal ones. Yeah, they weren't the strict. They weren't the strict ones. You know,
They're like the
That
ones
was-
like,
Yeah, because-
how can we make this good for people? How can we really like be
how can we
pious
make
and
this
good?
appeal?
And
Yeah, yeah.
It's from a principle that took over in Judaism, in rabbinic and modern Judaism. This is called pikuach nefesh. That is that if there is a law, but keeping that law would enable someone to die, for example, you should break the law. There is a principle: you do not keep the Torah if in breaking it you can save someone's life. And this is liberal as all get out, you know. I mean, the strict observance would be the Torah says do it, therefore do it. Period. It doesn't matter if somebody's even if somebody's life's in danger, you keep the law. Period.
Mm-hmm.
But the Pharisees came along and they said, look, somebody could get hurt. Their house could burn down. Obviously, you need. Okay, so the law says you don't start a fire on Shabbat and you don't put a fire out. There's no lighting fire or putting fire out. But if someone's house is on fire and it's Shabbat, what do? You
the
put
fire
out the fire. You know, you don't let the person's house burn down. This is called pikuach nefesh, and it's a principle that, I mean, at least as far as I'm concerned, makes Judaism very, very humane,
I
and
think
it came from the Pharisees.
yeah, coming from my own particular brand of Christian fundamentalism, I think that's a good one.
Well, you know, this is it's even more common than that. I mean, the Old Testament says if you break the Sabbath, you die, and you
Yeah,
have to
you're
be
put to death.
stoned. You're put to death. But you know, the men of the great assembly, the Sanhedrin, the elders, they said, well, yeah, that's the law, and we've got to obey it, but we need we need 3 witnesses to say that this happened. We need to have, they have to have been there, and they have to have known that this happened. And they just did a lot of things to impede that thing. And
To make the death penalty difficult to implement.
right, and there was
Basically, like marginalize it until it's basically not really there anymore.
exactly. There was a saying. There was a saying that if a Sanhedrin put to death more than 2 people in 40 years, it was a bloody Sanhedrin.
A bloody Sanhedrin, exactly. Yep.
But actually, I have one question about the
Mhm.
parasha.
Yeah.
So, is it because I just tried to look here? So, is it that like in 1 week the parasha, like the parasha Bereshith, would be Genesis 1 to 6:8, like 1 to 6:8?
Yeah, I believe that's the right ending of it. Yep.
Yeah, because then it's Noah.
And
So
it's
we're doing like so some of these weekly readings can be quite lengthy.
Yes.
yeah, of course. I mean, you would have the whole week to read the whole thing. We're only going
Mhm.
to read one aliyah, one seventh portion of it.
All right. Okay. Yeah. No, like it will be fun to learn
Yeah.
about this sort of reading.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
and if you attach some kind of audio, whether it's there's a website that you can use that's not Mahon Mamre, that has a modern Hebrew pronunciation. You could whatever audio you want to use.
Haktuvim.
I think
Haktuvim
that's
is
the
good.
one. Yeah, you're
Yep.
right.
That's the one that you showed me. Haktuvim.
Yeah. I think it's also scripture.io.
Yeah.
Okay, so this, and I think it's called like Faith Comes by Hearing or something. I don't know. This is the beginning of Pirkei Avot. And so I think it would be a good idea before we meet in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, we're going to be starting this. If you could look up maybe the idea of Anshe Knesset Agdola, Anshe Knesset Agdola, the men of the Great Assembly. Try to learn what you can about the Great Assembly, and that will be maybe a question that we'll discuss in that, because it says Moses received Torah from Sinai, gave it to Joshua. Joshua gave it to the elders. The elders are the prophets. The prophets passed it on to the men of the Great Assembly, and they used to say 3 things. And it gives us these 3 principles, and then it goes into the Av Beit Din and the Nasi of each generation, and what they had to say. So if you could look up on Sheikh Knesset Hagdola, the men of the Great Assembly, try to come up with formulate some kind of opinion about that before we meet in 2 weeks. Because next week we're doing 2 Samuel chapter 11, the second half. And the following week we're going to start with Pirkei Avot, and we're going to work through chapter 1 until we get to the beginning of Simchat Torah and the new Torah cycle. All right? How is that per plan? What are you showing us? Pirkei Avot. Yes, this is, look, John's got the same one.
It's
So
small,
this
man.
is the,
I mean, it's small. My old eyes.
yeah. This is the edition of Pirkei Avot that I've suggested that people buy. If you don't want to buy a physical copy of the book, that's just fine. Sfaria.org has Pirkei Avot in English and in English and Hebrew, so you can use the online version. But it's always nice to have something to carry around. I bought this in New York City. I can't remember the name. There's a Jewish bookstore there that was fantastic. Can't tell you where, like 30.
I guess that makes sense for New York
35th
City.
Street or something, but it was the best bookstore ever. I bought so many art scroll volumes there. I took my mom there. They were so sweet to her. This is one of my favorite places. I just can't remember the name of it. It's been 10 years or so. Anyway, it is 13 minutes to the hour, and I've basically finished what I wanted to present to you. I hope that you can share my vision a little bit about where we want to go and what we want to do. And it's all about immersing ourselves more and more in the language, in various aspects, in things that are related to the language, in the religion of the past and how it's evolved into today's religious expressions. I would say both in Christianity and in Judaism, not just we don't want to be closed off, and we want to be accepting of one another's faith expressions. But I think that as far as I'm concerned, that's what I wanted to present. Is there anything that you would like to share with me? Your thoughts, opinions. We've got random reflection on Matthew 5:18. I think the very long laments and ancient manuscripts. Yes. And that is, hold on, that was in, I have one here. Not just ancient manuscripts, in the medieval manuscripts, right? Like the Aleppo Codex. Got one here, let's share this. Real quick. Okay, so in this one we have the Aleppo Codex on the right and the Leningrad Codex on the left. We go in, look at those huge, tall lameds. That's what you're talking about, right? Dead Sea Scrolls do it too, don't they?
Yeah, I believe so. If I've checked, I think I've seen from, for example, like some of the old Dead Sea Scrolls fragments with.
This is Leningrad. Look at that one.
There. Yeah.
That one's huge.
Yeah, I think didn't they also have a Lamed Sofit at one point? I've heard Shimon lament its passing.
Wow, I don't recall a Lamed Sofit. We have in there are a couple of things that are not represented generally. I'm going to kill this and pull up Microsoft Word. A couple of things that are not represented generally. We have a ligature that appears in some texts. Hold on, it's an Aleph Lamed. Hold on. And you can find it in your character map on your computer, and it's expressed in different ways. So let's limit our character set to Hebrew. I want Unicode Hebrew though, not DOS Hebrew. Group by. Okay, there we go. Unicode subrange. We want Hebrew. Okay, and then we can see here. It's this one. It's Aleph Lamed. If we insert that, look how it looks in this font. Beautiful. This is SBL Biblit. It's always a beautiful font, isn't it? That's Aleph and Lamed together. So you could write Elohim.
That's
Elohim.
crazy.
Yes, Aleph Lamed. And the other thing is that I don't think it's in this font, but there is a flat-topped Lamed. That is a Lamed that, in order to keep it on a shorter line,
Right.
they curved. Yeah, they curved the top of the Lamed over back on top of the line. Let's see if we can find an example of that online somewhere, just real quick, and then we'll be done as far as I'm concerned. Let's call it flat top lamed. Let's see if that gives us anything. They have to have them, right? Somebody asked a question: Why are some lameds with a flat top? But I don't know if they'll show it. I was hoping they would show us one. Lamed with a bent back stalk. Okay, you see, Im eshkachech Yerushalayim tishkach yemini. See the lamed on Yerushalayim, where the top is folded back on top of it. I think they do that to save space so that it won't encroach on the letters above the next line. But what do you think? Beautiful, no?
It's fun.
All right, that's yeah. So the goal is to encounter new things in Hebrew. So, all right, lovely. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. If you don't have anything to add, then we'll call it a day and go to Modern Hebrew in the next session. All right. Well, lovely to see you. Do you guys, are you, John or Jacob, are you interested in the Modern Hebrew thing? You have the link?
I have the link, but I am already trashing my sleep schedule hard enough.
All right.
I have
okay.
I have a
For
child to
you,
get
it's
ready
1
for
o'clock
preschool
in the
tomorrow.
morning. For me, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. So here we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Not competitive.
But I don't have children. I have a cat.
You're both
And she
tired.
likes being up all night. So, all right, guys. Thank you so much. We will catch you on Monday next week. Remember, Thursday is done. No more Thursdays. Only John. I meet with you, Adel, and Eva on Thursday, and that's it.
All right. Very
All
good.
right.
See you then.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.